what's going on? Ben here. Yo, so I got a gripe about Spark again. Nothing too serious this time. But man, it has to do with, it feels like these orders are getting farther and farther and the pay's getting less and less. And I wonder, I'm starting to think, because I swear, I wonder if they're doing, like, it's gone down back to its normal level, and it's not so much that they're just getting cheaper and cheaper, but because I wonder when the gas was high, if they upped the prices of their deliveries, and that's why we're starting to see the orders go down again. I'm not sure. That's a theory anyway. I'm gonna look into that. But yeah, it just seems like they're getting farther and farther, and I got like half my face covered here. And they're getting cheaper and cheaper. My last video was said it was $650 for a base pay order. Goodness gracious, that's so low. Do you want to make $650 an hour? I don't. I mean, it's gonna get to the point where you have to multi-app even with Spark. Before you didn't have to, it was just a bonus, but now it's seeming like you might have to. What's going on? Anyway, another thing. It seems like all the shopping orders are getting more and more items. More and more items that you have to shop for as well. Have you guys noticed this? I have. So, and then they trick you too with the small and the large. I made a little short about that too. I made a short video about that, about the sins of Walmart shop and deliver. But you can check that out more for more detail. But yeah, it seems like, what's this person just stopped here? What the hell? Oh, what an a-hole. Wasn't paying attention. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so it seems like the items are getting more and more. Like a small used to be like 7 items, and now a small is like 16 items. A small could range from 1 item to like 20. That's what it seems like. It's weird, man, because sometimes they do the small and large based off of like item count, and sometimes they do it based on how big the item is. But if it's item count, they're like, oh, this is small, but then they'll throw in like, you know, 3 cases of water in there. It's really bizarre how they decide. And one of the employees even told me that the customers decide how big it is. Like they select. So if that's the case, and the customers are lying and like, oh, I'm just gonna say mine's small so that they get delivered, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like more so that employee was probably lying to me or was unclear about how it actually works, because it has to be like the store or the system that decides, but it's not perfect, man. Like, yeah, because I've had smalls where it's just a large amount of items, but yeah, no, these shopping delivers, it really seems like they're getting more and more and farther. Like you used to have more higher paying orders, and like there's a big gap between the high paying and the low paying. Now it seems like everything's kind of just congealing into this crummy, like mid-tier level, where that's all the orders I seem to see lately are just these mediocre, like, you know, like that's not great, you know, like there's always a trade-off, like well, this one's like, say this one's like $23. Oh, but it's, you know, it's only 2 items, but hey, it's going like 10 miles. You know, it's like, that's kind of shit. Like, sure, you'll only shop for like 5 minutes, but then you gotta drive, like, and then back, you know? And so I'm kind of on one like that right now, because it was the best one I got for the hour. Like, I waited, you know, past the 25 even, and they gave me this one. It was 1 item, but yeah, it's going like 9 miles or 8 miles. And it's just kind of far, you know. It's still better than DoorDash and all those eating apps, food apps. But yeah, it's not great. And I am concerned that they, like my last video I was talking about, kind of like this too. Feels like things might be going the way of DoorDash and just end up being really crummy, and then all they depend on is just finding enough people to trick to do these bad orders. It's like, man, these people don't realize you can't afford to take one of these Walmarts for $15 because they take an hour. They take an hour sometimes to complete. The only ones where you could potentially alter the amount of time would be the shop and deliver and have more control over it. But the pickup ones, unless you have an efficient store, I just don't see how even if you have an efficient store, I don't see how anything under $20 is feasible for just making money or with the amount of time, because you spend an hour on that one. Even if you don't spend an hour and you get done with the delivery early, you're still waiting for the next cycle, so, and then you just multi-app, but they don't know that we're multi-apping. In their eyes, it should stay like $20 an hour or more, probably more, because of the fees and gas and crap, like how much it costs, to operate here. But these people don't, a lot of people don't take that into consideration. Like, figure out your cost of operation. Like, what is your cost per mile? How much does it cost you? What resources are you using? But anyway, that's just my rant there. I'll get back to you quick. Traffic's kind of crazy right now. Peace. But yeah, I feel like there was a time when most of the orders were good. They were generally good orders. And now they seem to be mostly not good. And I always wondered how Walmart could afford to pay us so much when the orders I was shopping for were like $30 themselves, and I was getting paid $30. That seems a little backwards, doesn't it? Maybe they're trying to get market share. That was the theory. Old videos on that too, but I don't expect you to dig through them all. But yeah, it didn't make sense. I had to pick an order. But yeah, now it seems like a lot of the orders are like $18, but you have to like shop for 15 items and go 5 miles. And maybe I'm just spoiled because of how it started out. I think a lot of people who started DoorDash early feel this way as well, where the orders were really good, and then all of a sudden craziness, like just terrible orders. But yeah, it seems like they're going the way of DoorDash slowly but steadily, and I fear that they're even hiring more people, because I'm seeing less orders when even on Uber and DoorDash, man, it's like there's less and less orders. It's kind of crazy, and it's going into our good season when it should be busy, but it's not. It's pretty standard. Chelsea, my girlfriend, just got on Spark, and she's thankful. She just texted me that, saying like, man, I'm glad I'm on Spark because there's no Ubers, no good Ubers. It's wild. Hold on, I got an order request here. Terrible. Sorry, it wasn't an Uber request, it was a Spark request. But no, yeah, that's what it feels like, really. Like the one I just saw was $18, a medium and a large, going 8 miles. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's like, that's a lot of effort, man. But like I said, maybe I'm spoiled because of Spark, but man, it's hard to go from like every order being like $30 or 20 plus to having nothing and no one tipping anymore. And it feels like a lot of the good orders, because of how the rating system works, which the way we think it works, where the acceptance rate actually matters on Spark. That's what people say anyway. So if you join new and all your ratings are good, so you're gonna get all the good orders, but it slowly creeps down because they keep sending you the crummy orders, like, oh, take this 12 batch order. By the way, never take the batch orders. They're terrible. Way too much work, way too much time. It's ridiculous how they only pay you like $30 for those now. Those used to be like 60 or 50. They still weren't worth it though, but yeah, it just seems like things are getting farther. The pay's getting a little less. The item count's getting a little bit more. It's not looking good, and they're hiding the amount of items in the order. Anyway, I got another Spark. Hold on, I gotta check it. I think people just need to realize the new people coming in, they don't know that Spark is not DoorDash. You don't get orders whenever, and you shouldn't be taking those crummy orders anyway, by the way. But you just can't get the order volume like you can on DoorDash and Uber. And that's how they've been able to go so stinking low on their prices, and how all of them just aren't, most of them don't seem worth it anymore. I mean, I'm still able to make a living off doing this. I do this full time, but it's getting worse and worse. And just be prepared, everybody. Just find something, get a skill. That's the only way. That's what I'm trying to work on. So hold on, I got another order. Yeah, okay, so I just checked my incentives. All those orders were terrible. I'm frustrated that they even stopped the video because of them. I just checked my incentives though. They usually send out pretty good incentives. They sent me another one right when I start doing it. Okay, but I'll cut this up so you won't even know. But yeah, it was $26 extra dollars for 9 trips. Those used to be, when I first started, God, it was like 9 trips and you get like an additional $75. And even just the day before, like last week, I think it was 9 trips for $36. So it's going down and down, and they're hiring more and more people. Man, I hate it. I hate it. Used to be good. Used to be a little secret thing. Like, oh yeah, I got this, you know, I'm making some money. But anyway. Part of it too is that a lot of people need extra money. No one has money. I was talking to my sister. She said she goes to the gym a lot. She said she talked to a bodybuilder. He said he got 3 jobs. 3 jobs. He does Spark and DoorDash to try and pay for stuff. This is the new normal. This is what people have to do to survive. So doing this full time might not even be feasible anymore. We all are going to have to get several jobs until something changes. So it seems like, anyway. Yeah, I just don't. It's frustrating. It's frustrating for sure. But more and more I hear that same story. It's like, oh, I gotta work this many jobs. Oh, I gotta work this many jobs to make it. And it's crummy. Didn't used to be that way. You know, start out with one person got to work, pay for a whole house, college tuition for all their children, and then 2 people needed to work, and then all of a sudden one of the people needed to have 2 jobs, and then one of the people needed to have 3 jobs, and then now everyone has to have 3 jobs. You get what I'm saying? It's just progressively worse and worse, and then we hear like record profits in all these companies, like, oh man, we're raking it in, and it's like, how about you pay the people who are working for you? But they get away with it somehow. But anyway, it starts getting into the conspiracy territory there for me, for sure. But I got an Uber over trash. It was like $4 for 7 miles. Just trash. And then I also got a Spark, and it was also bad. And no one's taken that one yet, of course. That's good. I love seeing orders sit there. And I know it's bad for Walmart, but but man, they gotta, like, people will figure out. I'm hoping for the intelligence of people to see that you need to be making like nothing under $20. You need to be making at least $20 per order, at least. Otherwise, you're putting around and you're wasting your gas. But it's getting dark out here. I might just wrap this up. But yeah, let me know what you guys think is happening, why the prices are going down. There's that theory, like I said in the beginning, of it's just they had the prices higher because gas was higher. But that didn't really even affect us that much, actually. Well, it didn't affect me. It was like, what, like $6 more per fill-up? It's like, yeah, not that much. Yeah, considering, especially if you're doing Spark, and when it was good and the orders were short, but now, yeah, it's like 6 miles there and 6 miles back, which is shitty for a $24 order. It's like, I don't know. It's still okay, like, it's not too bad. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's just getting worse, and you can tell. And that's frustrating to see when you start at such a high. It's like, what if you worked at a job and they started paying you less as you went on? It's kind of like that. I feel like, hold on, let me straighten this out. Yeah, it's like that. But it's the gig economy. It's like, supply and demand. There's a lot of drivers out there. A lot of people don't want to work regular jobs. A lot of people have to make extra income, so they're going to get desperate and they're going to take these bad orders. Unfortunately, especially if they come from a job and they're like, oh boy, $15, hey, that's pretty good, a minimum wage job, though, or $17, hey, $18, like, even 19, whatever. It's like, hey, that's pretty good, I didn't make this amount, in this time, but it's like, and if they don't do it full time, they don't, they probably don't care too much about the, like the time investment. It takes a mindset, you got to have the mindset of being a delivery driver and doing this for a living is different than doing this casually as a side job, where it's just kind of supplemental. But it's just a different mindset. And so I guess that's where I'm coming from. That probably makes more sense to y'all. But yeah. So anyway, it's all going good though. So far so good. There are slow days and bad days. Today could just be a bad day. Fridays and Sundays seem to be the best days for delivery, and I can make a pretty hefty amount of money. Even this Monday, I did pretty dang well. Just got to get out there more. Got to get out there in hours where people don't want to, like in the morning, or are unable to, because if they're working a job, try and beat out the people who are working their regular jobs, or the W-2s, because that's what it takes. You gotta go for it. You gotta push it, and it's hard to do that sometimes. Like for me, it's hard to wake up in the morning when I don't absolutely have to, and that was one of the perks that I enjoyed, light, with being food delivery. But that laziness ultimately is not great. It's not great for us. Easy to do, but we can't do it. We need to be making more than what we need, because you never know if the next week is going to be terrible or the next day is going to be bad. But it takes a special type of person, because that kind of wears on you, like it's like, oh, I never know if things are going to be good, so I have to constantly be working to try and make it, and then that mentality can lead you to a lot of money, or just like the regular amount. But anyway, I'm rambling now. Trying to bring it back up to a positive note here. No, but everything's still good. It's it's not the best, and I hate seeing orders go lower and lower and people tipping less and less, and the base amount dropping to $6.50, which was my last video, and farther like this one. But who knows how much longer we have with this until they replace us all with robots. Woo! Automated cars and vans and Walmart employee drivers and stuff. Get a skill. It's only a matter of time, folks. Only a matter of time, unfortunately. Which sucks, because I really like this work. I really like it. I'm kind of a loner type. So I like driving by myself, not having to really have a boss that's telling me what to do. It's nice. But unfortunately, change happens. So, alrighty. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.